I'm campaigning in Holborn and St Pancras to become an elected MP because the people of Camden are not happy with their incumbent MP. He has said on LBC radio that Israel has the right to cut off water, electricity, and to continue the siege.
Israel does have that right to defend herself, and Hamas bears responsibility.
A siege is appropriate? Cutting off power, cutting off water?
Well, I think that Israel does have that right. It is an ongoing situation.
He didn't correct that for many, many days, didn't apologize. And I feel that the people of Camden, where we set up the Camden Gaza Ceasefire Association after October, have decided to vote him out, because I've been working for nearly 7-8 months now. The number one thing is to remove Keir Starmer from being elected again, and we have more than 2/3 of the Labour votes cast. If we can keep them united, we have an MP such as myself as an independent who wouldn't join Labour, who wouldn't rejoin Labour. I used to be a Labour councillor. So number one, they will have a truly independent MP who will listen to them. And I will be addressing pressing concerns such as housing repairs, lack of affordable homes, but mostly social homes, family-sized homes. And one of the proposals we're looking at is the requisition of empty homes for social rented purposes, building council homes, and so on. There are other issues such as NHS services, cutting waiting list, increasing GP appointments, easier access to GPs, dental services, and HS2, which is causing pollution, road closures, and boosting the local economy for employment and training. There are a number of local issues, safer cycling. So they want to elect an independent candidate. I started the campaign first. I declared first to stand against Keir Starmer before any other independent candidates. And I have worked very hard in consultation with the local Muslim community to bring them together, and so that they could select me, which they did, to stand against Keir Starmer. So the Muslim vote is very important. The Camden Muslims have decided to vote for me. So we need to look at all the studies conducted on the HS2 pollution and its impact on local residents. So today I met one brother who said his parents are elderly and they need access for the emergency services such as the ambulance to reach his parents, and they couldn't because the road is blocked. So that's an obvious threat to somebody's lives. And he is willing to give a statement to that effect. There needs to be a consultation with local residents about its impact on the local residents. Yes, with all the works that are happening, it has a high level of pollution because it's also in central London. So the air quality affects people's health, people with asthma, people with heart conditions, but also the road closures. The LTN needs reviews. The cycling lanes need to be made safer. On the electorate, we're looking at maybe 2/3 of the Labour votes cast typically are Muslim background. So let's say in this area, yes. So if there's 30,000 votes forecast according to electoral calculus who are eligible to vote, in comparison to the 2019 figure, due to a boundary change where 19,000 people, predominantly non-Muslim, have moved to a neighbouring ward, the Muslim population has risen in proportionate terms. So therefore, if 2/3 of the Labour votes that are forecast happen to be, let's say, 20,000, right, 15 to 20,000, then they will determine the outcome of this election, who becomes the MP. And no MP has won here without the support of the Bangladeshi and the Somali and the Muslim community.
Are you voting this year?
Yeah.
And how important is your vote, you think, to exercise your right to vote?
Wais Islam is supporting Palestine, so I will vote for him, and everyone vote for Wais Islam. Everything is good, but housing is rent, everything is very high. That's the problem here.
Well, it's important. We live in a democracy, and it's important that we exercise our right to vote, to express our view. Really, yeah.
What are the most important issues that you wish to see to be tackled?
Oh, where'd you start? I think providing social care is a big issue. I think there's a big section of the population who are suffering with mental health issues and problems, which are being largely ignored from a very young age. Social services aren't funded sufficiently at a infant junior level, from 5, 6 upwards, and young children struggle, their parents struggle to get the services and the diagnosis these children need, and consequently children are suffering on their own and suffering damage to themselves personally and also physically as well. And this is an area which isn't being tackled sufficiently. I have personal experience of that, and I have friends of mine who have personal experience also of this. So social care, mental health awareness, and putting money into those services is very important. Yeah.
Do you think if Keir Starmer ends in power, will he do a good job?
I believe they have a stronger empathy for that particular sector. There's been promises from the Conservative Party for the last 14 years, but the services have got worse. In the social services side, the funding just isn't there, and a large proportion of certainly the young and the young adult population are being done a disservice. They cannot find appropriate services. So the Conservatives have had 14 years to put that right, to address that, and it isn't been addressed. So as far as I'm concerned, any alternative is better than, well, I won't say any alternative, but certainly the Liberal Democrats or Labour would be the better options for me at the moment. Not fully decided, but one of those two probably would be my vote.